What's up, everyone? Showdown breakdown time. Broncos at the Chiefs. We got a good one here. Let's do it. We got another Chiefs-led showdown to break down, guys, and all the challenges that come with the Chiefs and usage, and we're gonna get all up in it, get it all figured out for you. I want to mention my boy Sliders, 100K winner this weekend. Not a lot of people saw this one, but gotta bring it up. We also, we had endless wins. This week 5 was spectacular. We nailed a lot of the core plays, especially at the running back position. And that's how it goes. That's what happens. 100K winner. That's in I forget what it's called. The name of that contest. The bomb. It's the bomb.
Wow.
Great job.
Wiz Khalifa ended up in the winning line. Wow, that's awesome.
Not really like helping to win, but he took a really interesting approach with this lineup where he kind of forced in Chase and Hill, and that was sort of the directive, and he nailed the Saints, which I remember Burns being very heavy on in the Millie Maker show. I'm not sure who else was talking about the Saints, but you needed the Saints to win this past week. So great job there. And right now the goal is to keep our streak alive of taking down showdowns with DFS Army avatars up top. I think it's a reasonable goal that every showdown is won. Yeah, again on Monday. I had another screenshot of. We had multiple people take it down. I have a bunch of those screenshots. I already showed them on the Tuesday shows. I'm not going to pull those back up, but it has been a spectacular season for DFS Army VIPs to start. And I'm going to mention one more thing before we break this thing down, guys. If you are not signed up at DFS Army, and you're like, well, I don't want to pay or blah, you have some reason. We have a free month program here. You just sign up for any of the sites. You click right up here. Can you see it? It's right up there. You click it, and it's going to take you to a free month offer. You can just sign up at PrizePicks, any of these sites. Use it at DFSArmy.com. You let us know. Follow the instructions right here. But the best part is you sign up at Sleeper. You already have a Sleeper account. Make a deposit. They'll double your deposit when you use code DFS Army. You let us know. You get a free month of DFS Army. Don't send. Yeah, just we want you guys in here. We want you to see what we do. See the difference when you're part of a group that teaches how to use the tools, that teaches the strategy of DFS. We don't just show you staff wins and say, good luck. Or we don't just give you 4 core plays and say, good luck, as if that ever works for anybody. We're trying to turn, difference with DFS Army. We're leveling the playing field. Average Joes compete like pros. You see it every single day. Bobbywow's got 2 million reasons why that's the case.
And we've got some new tools kind of coming maybe soonish. I'm hearing
we have an update coming to the Domination Station specifically for NFL Classic Slate. That is a game changer. You talking about all these other updates and other sites with their crappy optimize. And they keep trying one scheme after another. The Domination Station takes down showdown after showdown. We're leveling up the classic format version of the Domination. I'm telling you, this is something I've been wanting for years. It will make your lineups look like real games. Trust me on this. It's an if-then statement. I will be talking more and more about it, but it is in testing right now. It may go live this week. I never like to go live with an update too close to the weekend. I kind of like to wait till Monday just in case. I don't want bugs. But we are we're testing it as we speak. And if you guys ask in my channel and Discord, if you're DFS Army VIP, you can ask some of the guys there who have been testing it, what they think. It will blow your mind.
All I can say, Geek, is you were talking briefly about it before we got on, and I'm a little mad because I'm going to be losing sleep until we get this thing out. I'm so excited. So I can't wait. Let's get this thing out this weekend. That'd be awesome.
Big week 6.
It is going to be a big week 6. I already love the week. I looked at the main slate, but let's take down a showdown before we even get into week 6. So let's bring this up. And you know what? I want to start with the showdown analysis available only on DFSArmy.com. Right? And I really like the sheet. You guys love the sheet because it kind of shows historically who has been the nuts captain with these various teams in Showdown. So I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to look at this, but we've seen the Kansas City chart many of time.
Yep.
And, once again, the numbers that stand out. So when Kansas City is in a showdown, 32% of the time, Mahomes is the highest scoring player on the entire slate and is the nuts captain.
Is that good?
So that is as high as I've ever seen for any player. And we talked about why Mahomes is an exception, where most pocket quarterbacks do not end up in the nuts lineup in showdowns, but Mahomes spreads the football around. There's so many players that get a target. That's why that he can pull this off where no one else really normally does. 8% of the time wide receiver, so unlikely. You got Travis Kelce, 16%. Pacheco might be somebody to keep a close eye on. I can't wait to see the cheat sheet for this slate. And then, of course, really the opponents. It's pretty rare that actually Chiefs opponents make the nuts. Look at this. 8% QB, 6% wide receiver, 4% tight end, and that's it.
Yep.
Pretty low.
I don't even know if it matters that what the Broncos stuff says, but pretty much it's like our opponent is usually who's in the nut. People not on the Broncos. That's like the one piece of information you get from the Broncos is like, don't use Broncos. That might be how I attack this slate, guys. That may be how I do it. All right. With that being said, let's get into the matchups here. And I've been very it's very important to see the matchup sheet. I'm going to enlarge this bad boy here so you can see. See, I get your feedback. I hear your comments. By the way, guys who are watching live, let us know. Comment along the way. We're watching your comments, what you think, who you like, and all that good stuff, and hit that like button as well. So matchups tool over at DFS Army shows the various snap counts and usages. And I really think that this is the most important tool for getting started with the showdown breakdown. So taking a look at this, you can see that looks like Isaiah Pacheco, 60% snap count last week, getting all the rushes though. And I think that's the more important number. 76% of the groundwork went to Pacheco last week, guys.
Yeah. I joked about it in the cheat sheet, but this Kansas City running situation is ironically somewhat clear relative to what the Broncos are putting out there. So yeah, that's very noteworthy.
I would mention that every once in a while, Andy Reid just changes it up for no reason.
Of course.
But, this looks like as much of, you're right, a lead back situation, Bobbywow, as I ever recall seeing at all. And the matchup massively favors Pacheco here. The expectation and the game flow should favor him. So, do with that what you will. I think it's kind of funny that Rashee Rice was one of the chalk pay down options in last week's main slate. And then you look at the sheet here and you discover that my guy was only on the field for 30%. Now he still got 12% of the targets, but he was only on the field for 30% of the wide receiver snaps. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, essentially when he is on the field, Patrick Mahomes is throwing him the ball, right? Like that's basically what it comes down to. He is the third highest touchdown scoring prop on the book right now.
It's bananas. It's bananas with these wide receivers.
Just wait till we get to Justin Ross. I mean,
oh, stop. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what happened. You got to clarify that one for me, Bobbywow. But so Sky Moore on the field, 56% of the snap. No one's getting. Look at Marquez Valdez-Scantling is on the field the most out of any of these guys, and he's getting a 5% target share, not just last week, on the season. So they don't throw him. What does he do? How do I could be a wide receiver for the Chiefs. I'd be fine.
I think he runs a streak every play. At least that's what I would be doing. Get a defender out of the play, and that's your job.
He's just wind sprinting out there. They don't even bother pretending that they're going to throw it. I feel like, can he block? What is his deal? How do you get this job? So I don't know what's going on with these wide receivers, but what you can take away, Kadarius Toney did it a little bit last week, 15% target share. I think this is the most relevant thing I'm seeing here out of everything. That the
Tony.
Yeah, I think Tony might do it again in this game. based on the increasing snap count and increasing target share that he's been seeing.
I'm with you.
Right? I mean, look, 22, 37, here, do your algebra. 22, 37, 51. That was a question on the SAT. We all remember it.
I don't think kids take the SAT anymore, Geek. You're dating yourself.
Oh, they take
you
I
are
know, I'm
dating
just kidding.
yourself.
They definitely take it. Right? So I don't know what's going on, but to me, Rashee Rice not going to be out there much, but getting targets. Kadarius Toney probably going to do it again this time. I can't wait to play the song. I will have Kadarius Toney just for that.
Yep, I wrote the same thing up in the notes. We're on the same page.
I love that we have a hive mind. We have a reptilian brain connection. Here, I love that. All right, so that's about it. Kelsey's going to be the tight end that gets all the work. He's the top guy, 28% targets, even after coming out of the game last week, high ankle sprain. Kelsey don't care. You know what happened? T-Swizz came in, did a little Miyagi. Did a little that. Get back out there, Trav. That's all it took. Pfizer came in, jabbed him up a couple times. You're fine. Get back out there. How come Travis Kelce is no longer affected by high ankle sprains?
He's got that mRNA.
Who knows what that stuff does? All right. And of course, I think the backup guy is Bobby. You're not even gonna have a job. They're gonna be like, you're on that podcast with that lunatic. You're out.
Stop. No, I'm more concerned about Swift not being there last week. The Swifties are up in arms. What's going on there?
Way better for her not. Listen, it's enough. I'm a Swiftie and I'm out on it. It's enough.
There is photos of Kelsey with another girl on his birthday, but also photos of Kelsey buying like little cigars on his birthday too. So maybe he's having some cardiovascular issues.
Could be. Listen, streets. I don't love. Tony is absolutely a bum, but like you can only look at the workload and the target share going up and say, listen, we're looking at a showdown here. That guy is, when he's out on the field, he is an electric player if he can catch the ball. Listen,
touting's a stretch. Touting's a stretch there for sure.
Yeah, I don't know but I don't want to tout him too hard, but he's a talented guy. He's just probably jerky. All right. Let's shift over to the Broncos, the hapless Broncos. And I got to say, I do not have a lot of confidence in this Broncos team being competitive tonight, but you never know.
I mean, they're in sell mode, right? Like after this game, this is like tryouts for Judy and Sutton and everybody else for whatever team they're going to be playing for the rest of the year.
When you lose to the Jets, you basically have hit rock bottom. It's akin to, you're a drug addict, right? And you need some meth or whatever it is, and you suck a dick.
Oh my God.
That's rock bottom. It gets no worse.
No worse.
That's the end of it. Then you're like, wow, I've actually hit the worst. That's like that's what it is when you lose to the Jets. You hit rock bottom. We are not getting past this. Let's give up. So effectively, they hit rock bottom last week, and now what? I don't know.
Now you got to play the Chiefs.
I think to Josh's point, though, you don't want to sell something at the floor. You don't want to sell something at the lowest price, and you don't want to be sold at the lowest price either. I think there's reason for these guys to play hard. So I'm not saying that that's going to equate to much, but I think it's certainly worth mentioning.
The running back situation. Do we know if Javonte is going to be healthy for this one?
I think he's back. He practiced fully again.
Oh.
I think he's back, and that only makes things worse.
I was going to say that is legitimately worse because we had a breakout from Jaleel McLaughlin last week. And I think that at the very minimum, I would say Jaleel probably should be playing ahead of Samaji, but I think this is a mess.
It is a mess.
What are we doing at running back? I don't even know. I can't look at these usage numbers and help. What are we doing here?
The salaries. We'll get to the cheat sheet and see the salaries, and it's a little easier. But it's messy.
I'm going to just assume not good for any of them. 3 running backs on a team that's going to be behind. Somebody's going to be catching passes. I just wish I could predict who that might be.
I just looked at the salaries.
Just note that Pirine and McLaughlin both caught a ton of passes last week. So like both of them can catch a pass. This is a clusterfuck.
Yep.
That's all that is. That's a clusterfuck. This is a difficult one. All right. So let's shift to the wide receiver position where Jerry Jeudy and Sutton are out there for all of the plays. Jeudy has generally and continues, I think, to be the better guy between him and Sutton, although a couple weeks ago Sutton popped off, so you never know. But Jeudy, I think, is significantly a better play. I don't know how the salaries look, but it's funny here. Yeah, here they have Sutton priced above Jeudy. To me, Jeudy is a absolutely better play every week.
He's priced up. He's priced $1,200 more on the showdown.
Yeah, I would say rightfully so. I think that's That's correct. Mims and Brandon Johnson rounding it out. Brandon Johnson seems to kind of like get some sneak plays every once in a while. They kind of draw up some plays for him, but neither Mims or Brandon Johnson really are getting a whole bunch of targets. These are in the turd zone, I would say.
Yeah, can someone help me understand why the heck Brandon Johnson is getting snaps over Mims? I'm surprised Mims isn't seeing more action. I don't know. Maybe it feels weird to me.
I think that's a real negative on what the coaching staff probably thinks of Mims. Brandon Johnson is not like some special player.
No, and Mims he's done good stuff in his limited reps too. Yeah. He's looked good. So yeah, interesting. Both not a lot of targets.
Interesting, just little pop off last week with Troutman, who hadn't been somebody who gets many targets up until this past week, but for whatever reason last week, it's a reminder. I would not expect this to continue, but it's a reminder that, the tight end, just like we saw with Schultz last week, that's probably not going to continue the 10 targets. And we saw with a bunch of like Logan Thomas, 11 targets. Every once in a while, a tight end just pops off.
But Dulcich designated for return this week. So that will make things messy too.
Ooh. Yeah. For this game?
For this
game.
We'll
have to pay attention and see if he actually is active. Right. Yeah, we'll pay attention to that one. All right, so that pretty much breaks down the usage for both of these players. So let's jump over and just talk about some game flows and the cheat sheet, Bobbywow.
It's not good.
Ooh. Oh, I forgot to keep it open. So let's actually, I didn't keep the window open. I should have done that. So, here's what I went over to the free month offer, of course. But let's get into the breakdown, the cheat sheet. And Bobbywow, is there anything at the captain position this week that's going to blow my mind? Or is it just, Mahomes, Kelsey, and then good luck?
Whatever.
No, your mind's going to be blown here, I think.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. All right, let's get started here. Let's get some ownership looks, too. Captain ownership for Mahomes, 17% range. Okay. Seems low. Wait, Russ? Oh, my God. All right, take me through
there
it.
We go.
Take me through it, Bobbywow.
I think Mahomes is Mahomes, right? Not much needs to be said about him. The Broncos stink. Mahomes, he'll play in blowouts, as we saw against the Bears. I mean, he got pulled eventually, but usually if a game's in a blowout, it's because he's done all the damage. So, no reason to get cute with Mahomes unless you're trying to take down a Millie. So yeah, he's phenomenal play across the board. I think I'm curious about your takes on Kelsey, because that to me is like one of the pivot points here. He got hurt. I know he came back in and caught the touchdown, but he still looked hobbled. Like he didn't look like himself. And Kelsey's a volume guy. Like if that limits his volume, that could be a big deal on the slate. So are you at all concerned about the injury, or are you just kind of assuming business as usual with Kelsey?
I think you have to. I think the injury is there and it's real, and you can concern yourself with it. But the role that Kelsey plays, a touchdown scorer, he's not a speed guy. I don't think it matters enough to where you can reasonably fade him any more or less than you would in general. So I would say there's probably not. And because, again, it's a showdown, we don't need a 36. We saw, I think, for the last couple showdowns where like Christian McCaffrey gets there with like a 12. You know what I'm saying? Like it's raw points that matter in the showdown. And so it's really difficult to just fade someone like Kelsey because we think, hey, he might not hit his 36 point ceiling in this one, but I think he's still, as long as he's going to be out there, I'm playing him. Let's put it that way. I'm playing him if he's on the field.
What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of kind of how you have to play it, right? Like it's hard to get into the injury narrative game, and I think it's hard, right? Like everybody, if he doesn't go off, everybody's gonna be like, oh, his ankle, we knew it. Like we don't know shit, like in reality, right? Like we don't know anything. So I don't know. It's hard because I say that, and in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I probably want to decrease my Kelsey owner. Like, you know what I mean? So you have to fight that bias a little.
Let me give a recent example. In the most recent showdown on Monday, we had a Devontae Adams Q tag situation, right? Sure. And we're like, well, what should we do? Right. And it's like, do you load up on Devontae? He's playing. And then the game plays out and he didn't do anything. So you're like, oh man, did I screw up? Should I have not played a guy who came in injured? I don't think that him not doing anything had anything to do with that injury. I think it was the defense covered him and they threw it to Jacoby Myers instead. But so we could be right and be wrong, and we could be wrong for being right. You never really know with these injuries. So I kind of just say, if he's on the field, he's doing his thing.
Yep. I took the same approach. I mean, literally go with your gut. Like there's no one way or the other here. Go with your gut and stick with it there. I think the only thing it could affect really is the ceiling. Like that, the captain spot is more reason to maybe go underweight, but totally agree with you guys.
And the flip side is there's always good reason to fade chalk. Any player who's going to be high owned, if you want to try to win these outright, and especially if, let's say you only have, I think there's one thing that people really do wrong strategically before we continue with this, that people really do wrong strategically, that I'm going to say it, and you'll still do it wrong, but at least I said it out loud and you heard it with your ears. And then you chose to ignore what I'm going to say, which almost everybody who's watching this will choose to ignore. But when people are making just one lineup, they actually tend to be more conservative with the lineup rather than less. So if you had just one lineup, you should automatically be thinking about fading the best player. Automatically. Your first thought should be, oh my God, this guy's going to be 80% owned. I'm out. Not because you're thinking in your head he's going to do badly. You know he's supposed to do well. That's why he's 80% owned. But you have to say, I don't care. If he does well, I ain't winning shit anyway. So
assuming you're trying to take a tournament down, right?
Yes.
Just to clarify,
this is not a cash game.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not for cash games. This is if you were trying to win a tournament of any size, maybe larger than like 150 entries. The first thought you should have when you see a high-owned Christian McCaffrey, who's in a lock button spot against the worst rush defense in the entire NFL is, man, as good as that spot is, I'm out. Not because I don't think he's going to smash. I think he will. But if he smashes, I ain't winning shit anyway. So I might as well not play him and just hope that some weird shit goes down. That's a better chance for you. And every time, unless you're max multi-entering and you're in a 1,000,000-person contest or a 50,000, the first thought should be, who's in the best spot? Let me not play them, especially in a showdown or in a 2 or 3 gamer. When you start to get into the giant contest, you don't have that level of chalk. But the minute you get into any situation where there's a 50+% owned player, your first thought should be, how do I not play this guy?
Yeah. Good thought.
Now everybody will proceed to ignore that.
I think that's the way to think about it.
And if you need me to tell you to do that, I'm not going to again. This was your chance to hear that lesson. I'm not going to say, if you ask me, is Travis Kelce a good play? Yes. I'm going to say yes, because if I say no, I sound like an idiot the 80% of the time that it works out for Travis Kelce. So I won't do that. But I explain the strategy of why your mind should always go away from the chalk. You should be looking at this slate going, Mahomes is going to be 75, 85% owned. Fading him. Now, do what you will with that information. Okay, I said it out loud. All right, moving on, gentlemen. What would Bobbywow? Just ask yourself, what would Bobbywow do? Fade the chalk. It's in the song.
WWBWD.
It's in the song.
It comes down to me, Geek, just to add one more point to that. Like, when you look at chalk, you need to start thinking about what reasons that player is giving you not to play them. Sometimes the guy's chalky and it's like, no, I have every reason to play this guy. In Kelsey's situation, I will still be playing him a bunch, but there are reasons. If, the game could end up in a blowout, or, Kelsey could re-injure himself, or the Chiefs could choose to play it safe. Like, once those reasons start to pile up on that list, that's when you should really start considering, like, hey, you know what? There's some potential leverage here. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And
then try to build a lineup around that scenario. Pacheco dominates. Chiefs defense scores twice. Exactly. All the good players are on the bench by the middle of the third quarter.
Exactly.
Potentially, right?
Didn't have enough time to score enough points. There are so many things that could happen. So anyway, all right, let's continue on here. I don't get it. I am not going to play Russell Wilson.
Can we be honest for a second, though? Can we at least have a heart-to-heart here? Russ
is playing because I like Wilson here.
He played well. He played well against the. I thought he played well against the Jets.
He's had a couple of solid games with no help from his supporting cast. He's throwing the football well. Got a couple games with 3 tutties, with over 300 yards, and he's using his legs. He had 7 rushes against the Jets last week for 49 yards. The guy is going to have to throw the ball and produce no matter what this game. There's no scenario for me where the Chiefs don't get out to an early lead. Russ is going to be forced into putting up fantasy points. I know that's hard to hear for people.
It's hard to hear. It's 3 out of 5. He's outscored Mahomes in 3 of 5 games this year.
Thank you.
And that's all you need to hear, right? One thing I will say, there is a scenario where Chiefs defense is so dominant here that Russ just has one of those Daniel Jones type horrible games. That's, within the range of outcomes. But I agree with you. The more likely thing is he's going to be throwing. They're going to be behind.
Is this Chiefs defense that good?
It's pretty. It's good.
They've been good. They've been a top defense against the pass, but I don't think that's sustainable. At least not at this pace. And Russ has been good, and the weapons are there. Like Judy should be good. He's due for a breakout game any week. Sutton's been good. I don't know. I just think there's reason to play Russ more than you might think. That's all.
I think I'm fine with it. I think here's the thing with this defense. I think this defense is good. I don't know that they're a good scoring defense. Like, I don't think they're going to put up a 25.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that as well.
I think they're going to get 3 sacks and a fumble recovery and give up 10 points. Like, that's a good defense. It's not necessarily a GPP winning defense unless Russ goes Danny Jones, right?
There's also the scenario where Denver, I have to. The reality is this is a divisional matchup, and Denver traditionally plays Kansas City well.
Yep.
And they're auditioning, like Josh mentioned. There's a lot of reasons. Yeah.
Am I betting Denver? Am I taking the 10.5? No. Am I betting Kansas City and laying 10.5? No. So, that's what I'm saying. Like,
good point too.
I'm not laying this 10.5 either, because Denver has played them pretty tough over the years, and even in the Russell Wilson era. So I think you can see a few different ways this game goes down. So with that being said, Isaiah Pacheco, I think that's a really good spot. Denver defense is horrific. Let's not forget what Breece Hall did just a couple of days ago against the same defense. This was, everybody said Breece Hall's a bum. Guy puts up 30, looks incredible against this team. Isaiah Pacheco might get 102 in a game like this. Like that's
the only thing in his way, Geek, is that Breece Hall, we heard about the increased usage. We knew he was going to get touches. There are so many more vultures on this Chiefs team. That's the only thing keeping me from having him higher as a captain. Yeah. But the path is there for sure.
And the 70% snap count, that is real. That happened. Will it continue? We have seen the Chiefs not continue their patterns in the past. Andy Reid has been around for long enough that we've seen this pattern where it's 70% and then the next week something else happens. But it does look like it has a little bit of stickiness, that high usage. So I would lean more towards that is what is going to be than not. Like, I'd be shocked if Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes out and gets like 20 touches. I'd just be surprised.
I just love the way he runs too. Like every touch is his last. He runs like every touch is going to be his last. He's fun to watch.
Here's something to think about, since we're on like the philosophical debate side of things today, and I hate to like take another trip down this road, but I think I just see people right in the chat sometimes like so-and-so is a bum. And so like you have to get out of your fan brain and out of your bias brain. And like, especially in a single game, like that doesn't matter. Sometimes the more you think you know about football, the worse you do in stuff like this, because you watch the game and you think so and so is a bum, and 5 for 60 gets them there in the nuts.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get over that sometimes if you want to, you know what I mean? Like playing Richie James in a showdown, right? Like, nobody does that, but that's what wins you money.
Playing Jared McKinnon in a showdown too. Yeah, that's totally agree, Josh.
I have a bias that Cortland Sutton is a bum, but you got to play Cortland Sutton. Like, just 2 weeks ago, he was peppered with like 11 targets.
I'm well aware that I have it, and I write about it in the cheat sheet sometimes. It's like I have a real bias against playing defenses in showdown, and it's like killed me this year.
Yeah.
But all right, let's continue on. So Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, I think both acceptable. Captain plays I don't love either, really, but I think they're acceptable.
Yeah, who else? I mean, those to me, those are great options at the price point, the usage. It gets thin.
It's about what you can do with the rest of your lineup too, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's where what it comes down to.
Judy's not that cheap at $9K. I mean, he's priced like a stud wide receiver here. Like, and Pacheco's priced at 94. I mean, these are stud prices. This is expensive.
Yeah,
you're going to be forced on this slate to live in the Rashee Rice, zone of Kadarius Toney. Like Tony at 4K is going to be one of my favorite plays. I want to throw up even saying it.
But I mean, even Jeudy, Jeudy is 6K cheaper than Mahomes in the captain spot. That's massive. That's humongous. 6K.
The absurdity of Mahomes' price is what's crazy there. But yeah. So you're right. And Jeudy, we know he's got the 25-point upside. All wide receivers, Sutton, Jeudy, these types of guys, especially on Denver, where they don't throw to like 10 different people, those wide receivers absolutely have, the 25 plus. Any of those wide receivers can outscore every quarterback and whatever. So yeah, of course they have to be in the mix. Man, these are tricky ones. I'm a little surprised that Tony is the cheapest of the wide receiver group. Yeah, it's going to be interesting trying to put lineups together with this, but
not fun. I'm doing it right now.
I don't really know what to do about the running backs for Denver. Javonte priced up the way he is. Let me see what the other price is. Oh, Jaleel. Hello.
It ain't 7K?
Good. 7K? Where's the other one?
P. Ryan's in the 5K range, I think.
LaMichael or Samaje?
Samaje.
Don't play the wrong P. Ryan this week.
Oh, man. How many P. Ryans are on this team? Wait, Noah Gray is up to 4,400. Even the backup tight end is priced up. How do you play anybody? So, Bobbywow, how do you make a lineup for this?
There's some options. To me, this is a big-time MME slate. I see the Chiefs. I see the pricing the way it is. This is like, get your quarter lineups in, get your nickel lineups in, and build 150, because this is like as good as it gets. It's hard to build one lineup. It really is. There's a lot of options, though. Like, if you look down the list, there's a bunch of viable cheap options. But again, the floor is 0. So, you can't feel great about them, but super fun plays for tournaments, 150 lineups.
Just a heads up. It just happened like 30 minutes ago when I was searching on Twitter. They released Little Jordan Humphrey to pursue a rap career, which means that it's likely, I don't know if he's pursuing a rap career, but it's likely that Dulcich will be activated because now they have a roster spot. And so they're hoping Little Jordan gets back on the practice squad, but
yeah, he's going to be in hot demand from other teams that like to turd us up, like the Saints.
The name Little Jordan.
The Saints are going to bring him back. The Little Jordan back here.
Little Kevin.
He's been eliminated.
Some other cheap options, guys, on the slate. I think Kadarius Toney at 4K to me really stands out with the increasing workload, the explosiveness of the player himself, the need that the Chiefs have to figure something out at wide receiver, where I think Kadarius is a good play at 4K. I'm going to say the name a few times so you remember it. Troutman here coming off a good game, 2,800, priced appropriately. Justin Watson.
Dulcich back, though.
Yeah, Dulcich back, maybe. Could, but now it seems like likely.
Seems likely.
Are we playing Dulcich?
He's viable. Another guy down here that's viable below 4K.
He can catch passes. I like Justin Watson a lot down there.
Turd.
Watson
Justin Ross is
usage
okay.
every week.
Yeah, 2 notes for me. Can you tell me the top 3 wide receivers on the Chiefs for snap counts this season?
Yeah, I mean,
Justin
it's
Watson.
going to Watson. I think might be Scantling, Watson, and Watson and Sky Moore.
Yeah, number 1 is MVS, number 2 is Sky Moore, and number 3 is Justin Watson. Yeah.
Watson's on the field. They just don't throw to him. We saw them throw to him a couple times last week, but
he gets
they normally don't.
He gets 2 or 3 targets a game.
Yeah, he gets a couple targets. And
the other thing, one other thing to mention too, before we go into build, Justin Ross. Okay, can we talk about Justin Ross for 1 second? He was everyone's preseason darling. Everyone was excited to play him week 1 and draft him in their leagues. He's been terrible. Okay, he just hasn't played. Last week, he was on the field for 6 snaps and he was targeted 4 times. Now Mahomes is coming out and saying, hey, he's going to get more involved. We are going to get Justin Ross more involved in the offense. Again, this is one of those spots where it could easily come back and blow up in your face. But if you're trying to get on someone early in a showdown, like Justin Ross at 600 is a potential spot for that. So just to call that out a little bit.
I love the call out. I didn't hear. So Mahomes said we really want to get him involved. Like Mahomes mentioned him.
Yes.
That is a good thing. I'm a big fan of if the quarterback talks about the wide receiver, or if the wide receiver is saying I'm open all the time or any of that stuff. I like that.
How do you play 6 snaps? I have to be reading that wrong. He played 6 snaps and got 4 targets.
6 snaps. That's what he played.
That's insane. Like that. That's a big flag. That's really interesting on a showdown slate like this.
Yeah, 4 targets, 2 receptions at 900. That's the nuts. Or at 600. That's probably that's enough.
Yeah.
All right. I like this Justin Ross idea, so I'm going to drop him in this initial build.
If you're playing like a Mahomes captain, you almost have to play Justin Ross.
Oh man,
Mahomes captain 36% of the time. I'm going to go with my guy, Tony. Tony feels good. It's an all-time great song.
That's a good lineup. You
gotta go one of Judy or Sutton, guys. One of those guys.
It's expensive to play Judy, and I got to play Pacheco too. So let's see here. Hold on. Oh, this will eliminate Kelsey.
That's okay.
Mahomes captain, I'm a little less excited about Pacheco. Not that you can't play him, but I'm going Kelsey over Pacheco and a Mahomes captain.
I agree with it, but I do think that a general lineup that I want that's more cashy, I will want Pacheco in there. But man, that price is, and Judy's price is just, you're paying the iron price. This guy has not done it.
Sutton has.
Sutton, I know has, but Sutton is, that was a fluke.
You're biased, Geek. You're biased.
I know I have a lot of bias. I do not like Cortland Sutton at all.
Okay, so once.
Do you have a reason, or is it just you don't?
Yeah, I do have a reason. And my reason is basically before Judy, or even when Judy was hurt, Sutton has had so many opportunities to be the top dog, and he has just failed miserably.
No.
And I just don't think he's good. Like, I know, brain player, you watch the games, you're fucking weird. I'm supposed to just use analytics. I don't do that. I watch, and I just have knowledge of Sutton. Just like, he had opportunities to be the number 1 wide receiver for like 4 seasons, and he was shit. And so I just don't think he's that good.
Injuries.
Yeah, who's throwing him the ball? Drew Lock?
At some points, yeah.
Paxton
but
Lynch?
You saw there was all these different guys. I don't know. There's a few of them. What's wrong with Drew Lock?
He was catching passes from Brett Rippon and Phil Lindsay in 2020.
You sound like a Drew Lock hater. I was able to get Mahomes and Pacheco into the lineup. The only thing, so if you do if you go Chiefs onslaught.
Yeah, what are you coming back with? Will
Chiefs
Lutz?
Defense? No, you can't. Samaje?
No thanks on that lineup. No, thank you.
No, this is no good. Okay.
You can't do it.
Holy Moses.
Jerry Judy. Sky Moore. Samaje, this doesn't work.
Let's throw Sutton in there. Let's just see what you got instead of Judy.
Oh, it's going to be the right way.
It's going to be better.
So with Sutton in there, you can get McLaughlin or Williams. You can get a running back as your last spot.
I'm not touching Javonte, you guys. I'm going Sarah
okay.
McLaughlin in deep GPP, and then P Ryan, the 2 pass catching backs. Geek, I don't know I'm doing in this lineup, but I'm just saying, as far as my lineups are going to look tomorrow, give me McLaughlin or P Ryan over Williams. I mean, he could come out after 2 snaps again, and even if not, like, the rookie looks really good.
I thought Jaleel looked great. How about a KC 4-pack with Sutton and Jaleel?
I could get on board with that in tournaments. It's a good tournament lineup.
Yep.
Hang on.
It's not. You don't feel great about it, but you're not going to feel good about anything.
It'll feel great when the $1 million hits your bank account, Geek, or the 50K in this one.
Hold on. Jaleel reminds me of someone.
Like Urkel? Yeah, there you go. I was going to say Jaleel White.
I had to do it. My favorite Jaleel of all time, Steve Urkel. How do you know Steve Urkel? Wait a minute. Aren't you too young for that DFS up north? No?
I was all over those TGIF with Family Matters. And
okay. You're from the TGIF.
Else was on there? Step by step.
I like it. I love it. I'm going to put this one in. I think it's a decent lineup build. I think, though, let's just do one more thing here. If you don't use Mahomes, it gets maybe a little bit easier, right? So if I were to say
Pacheco
up top, which I think is a perfectly acceptable captain. How does that lineup look? Chiefs defense?
Yeah. I'm not jumping at that. They're so expensive,
That is an expensive defense.
That's crazy.
I don't hate it, though. With Pacheco in there, I don't mind it. Right? In this version of a lineup, we don't have to go to the hope and pray for Justin Ross to catch a ball approach. You can. I'll go right back to Tony here. I think he's one of those guys I'm going to have a lot of. Let's see. Kelsey? Mahomes?
Oh my gosh.
I just built a good one. I just built a good one like that.
I mean,
you can do it.
Oh,
you don't have any Broncos.
I keep forgetting to put Broncos in. That's a problem.
But you can go Pacheco, Judy, Kelsey, Mahomes, Ross, and Justin Watson.
Judy.
Justin Square? Is that what's taking this thing down?
You went to Ross again.
No, it's not.
Wait. That was without Chiefs. You go Ross.
Expensive, you guys.
What are you saying, Bobbywow?
The Chiefs are so expensive. Oh,
it's crazy.
The defense.
And the players on the Chiefs are very expensive. Like 12,
kind of like Dulcich at that price.
Even in limited action, that dude, he's a good pass catcher. That dude's a contributor.
I mean, he's gonna 1x the salary, right? Like minimum 2x probably.
I'm weary of the Chiefs 5-1 stacks here. Let me just say that out loud too. This is not a slam dunk by any means. I like balanced stacks tomorrow night.
Got to play balance, but just got to figure it out. I feel like it's hard to balance it when Jerry Judy's priced up at $9K.
Well, you're playing the Chiefs defense at the same price.
That's fair. Chiefs defense is ridiculous price. No, but even when I take him out, Judy is priced up like freaking Travis Kelce. What is this shit?
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's 2K less.
Don't forget about the kickers either. If you're building a cash lineup, Harrison Butker to me is a lock in a cash lineup, and Will Lutz is fine too.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like what I'm seeing here is you cannot play Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pacheco together and really feel the lineup that you're going to feel that good about. Let me see something.
Can we play
game flow? I don't know.
If I just went kicker. Let's see here. Hold on. Harry Butker, Will Lutz. Yeah, you can't even. So you're like with Troutman or something like that. So
I think the moral of the story here is like if you can do 150 lineups, if you can find a way to MME, even if it's nickels, this is perfect. Make it happen.
This is classic Chiefs showdown stuff. The same kind of dilemmas. I think FanDuel will be a little bit easier of a puzzle to solve than DraftKings, maybe. No,
Mahomes pricey there too.
Oh boy. All right, let's take a look at the FanDuel Golden Duel.
The duel.
Some of these numbers. Oh, 18K. Thank you, FanDuel, for making it tough. There it is. So I think I've seen 18K.
He's been 18K a couple times.
Yeah, it's happened like 4 or 5 times over the year. That is not a common. I think I've seen as high as a 19K player on FanDuel once.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he was up there.
Yes.
Was it Hurts? Yeah, I remember
Hurts.
something like so absurd that it was crazy. But this is almost that. You play Mahomes. So FanDuel has given you the gift of you don't have to play Mahomes. Because at that price, you don't have to.
Sure.
Do you? You don't?
You don't have to. You probably want to, but you don't have to. Let's see, because that's what they do. They when you jack it up, you get to a point where it's like, hey, I can't make a lineup. So, like, if you have to play Mahomes,
you can make lineups with Mahomes there.
Well, we got to see who's available. I guess maybe let's see what the turds go. Yeah. Okay, so you got Tony down here. So yeah, you can but you got to pair it up with some really thin plays. Let's see. Russell Wilson, of course. Kelsey, Pacheco. So none of the running backs for the Broncos make the list.
No. I mean, look, even when all 3 guys were out there and Javonte was healthy, it's still essentially a 3-way split. So I don't know that any of them have a huge ceiling unless Javonte gets hurt again. But it's just so hard with those running backs. I don't like it.
The running backs are too many.
Not for MVP.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. So let's jump over to I think most of your lineups are going to just be Mahomes. Play some Russ. I'm fine with it too at 15 on FanDuel. I think that's where you're okay with doing something like that. I don't mind like Russell Wilson with Pacheco as a starting.
No, I don't mind that at all.
Kind of get a little different. Pacheco and Russ. Let's see what the price is on Isaiah 13.5. The highest he's ever been. Kelsey at 14K. Can you imagine?
That's a hard
Kelsey
one to swallow.
And Pacheco the same price. Let me throw this dilemma at you. Your season-long team. You've got Kelsey and Pacheco, and you need a flex.
Kelsey.
You're playing Kelsey, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, right?
But the paths to a Kelsey smash, there's a lot more than Pacheco. Pacheco needs touchdowns. That dude needs to score touchdowns, or he is not going to be the captain or MVP. And there's a lot of touchdown vultures on the Chiefs.
Yep.
I think you just hit it, right? They have the exact same projection. Like they're both projected right around the same at 14.2, 14.1. They have almost the same projection this week, but yeah, I think Kelsey's more likely. No, I don't know if he's more likely to score a touchdown, but he's certainly more likely to gain some PPR points along the way.
They're similar odds. Yeah, Kelsey's a little bit better, but they're very close for touchdown scoring.
It's very thin. It's very thin. It's very close. So in order to afford that, just take me through the rest of this here. Sutton 11.5, Judy 11K. Denver running backs don't look so great.
I mean, look, you're getting to the point down here where you're like, Hunger Gamesing it with these wide receivers because you got to play some of them, but no one jumps out as like they're going to score a touchdown or put up big numbers. So it's tough.
I think you just got to scroll through it. Yeah, it's exactly what you said. You just got to let it cycle through. Even Adam Troutman could catch a touchdown at 7K. Like, why not?
I think there's
Edwards-Helaire could run one in. So many options.
Michael Burton. Revenge game.
Michael Burton.
Fullback for the Chiefs last year.
Don't play Michael.
Goodness.
Don't play
Come
Michael
on.
Burton. Not
okay.
On FanDuel.
Real turd player that I think that you can play, especially on FanDuel at their price, is Denver Broncos defense. They're 7,500.
Are you overcompensating for your bias, Josh, or are you feeling?
5 minutes ago, he told us. Wait. It wasn't 5 minutes ago that you said you hate playing defenses, and now you want to play the defense against the best offense in the National Football League. Like, I have to play defense.
Nobody is going to.
Mahomes?
Nobody is going to. What if they score?
Okay. You know what? No one is going to. That is true.
Look at the ownership. Look at the ownership for Kadarius Toney. Just before I forget, I think he's your best. He's your best play down here, maybe. Him or Lutz.
I will play Kadarius Toney. Yeah. I mean, Will Lutz also. Let's not. The reason Will Lutz is priced down is because if a team is down by 20, they usually don't kick a field goal. They're like going for touchdowns. But I think Will Lutz at 8K is fine.
Sky Moore, he'll be on the field.
Tony?
He's cheap.
Yeah, and Rashee Rice, I think, is down here too. No, he was up to
85.
Okay. He was a little more expensive. You know, Jerick McKinnon gets a carry or two here or there. You never know.
Yep.
I wish we had more. You know, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like the Chiefs showdown is the least fun showdown to break down.
No, it's the most.
I mean,
this is great.
I guess it is fun. I don't feel like we get as much clarity.
And that's why we keep preaching like MME. If this is the time to try it.
Yeah. Let me go to, it's a miracle that FanDuel even opens on my screen at this point. You don't understand how often I get the "Are you human?" screen of hell. And then I'm like, oh no.
I think I changed my password like 4 times in the last month.
It's so scary. And then the worst is when you have to do an update and time is winding down. I had a time winding down. I had to shut off my computer, clear my cache, upload, open, figure out how to open Microsoft Edge because I needed to get off Chrome and seconds to spare. And I don't even know. I'm trying to do a CSV update using Microsoft Edge. I'm like, I never used this fucking browser. It was a nightmare. The whole thing.
How passionate you are about the FanDuel thing, Geek.
Seconds to spare.
They need
seconds
to be
to spare. So, all right, let's see here. If you play Mahomes, you're down to 10-5 right off the bat.
You just can't play any stud receivers with him.
You stud receivers. All right, Kadarius Toney, fine. We'll go to the cheapest guy. I'm still 11-7. So effectively, I still can't get a second stud in here.
You could.
All right, let me put Kelsey in because that's my guy with Mahomes. Mahomes and Kelsey go together. Oh, they go together.
Now put.
You're going Jerry Jeudy here.
Yep, Jerry Jeudy and Will Lutz.
9K. I can actually get Harry Butker in there too.
Yeah,
Ryan
it's
even.
not that bad.
This is not bad at all.
There's a couple spots there, yeah.
There's a lot of ways to build here, though. I see a lot of variations as you look at how FanDuel seems to play. Like this ain't bad. I like this little. Yeah, I think. Little case sizzles. Onslaught right there. I like
the
it.
MME on FanDuel I think is intriguing.
So there's a lot of ways to build, though. If you're brave enough to not play Mahomes up top,
that's probably the way
you want to get. I like Pacheco. So like if it's a Pacheco, then I want Mahomes maybe in here. Actually, let me think. Get Russ, and then no, I was going to try to get Kelsey in there. Usually Kelsey and Mahomes go together.
Yep.
I got Pacheco in there, Tony. So in this case, I will go Kelsey. Yeah, and you could go Cortland. I mean, I don't like it, but there are a lot of different approaches here that can get creative. I think though, I would be primarily rotating between Mahomes and Pacheco as my top sort of options for MVP. And I think if you could run with those two quite a bit, a little Russ as well, and then just kind of run with that trio a little bit. I think, do we have ownerships? Let's see.
Yeah.
Just take a quick glance at the captain owner MVP ownership. So Mahomes 25%, Russ 20.
Jeez.
It's a little too close to Mahomes. And Pacheco only 11%, Bobbywow.
Yeah, I think that's your pivot.
Yep.
That's some low-owned captaincy from Pacheco on a starting running back that's got 70% of the touches for a team going up against like the worst run defense in the National Football League. Yeah. One interesting note, Pat Surtain is completely neutralized by the lack of a number one wide receiver.
Right.
It's like playing Texas Hold'em against someone who doesn't know how to play. Like you can't read them when they're bluffing. They don't know.
Yeah. You're like, wait, who's the number one guy? Who am I on? And they're like, Martez Valdez-Scantling is going to be out running.
MVS just running streaks.
Let's go with him. Like, what really is that? You're going to waste Surtain? This was the thing that the Patriots used to do, where you didn't know who the hell their number one wide receiver was, so you didn't, your CB1 was just out there like that emoji. They don't know. All right.
One other point I'll make real quick, just on the tournament piece. Just note too, like how this 8,500 and below zone, you could see any of these guys scoring more points than anyone in this range. So like if you're building on FanDuel and you're trying to get unique, don't be afraid to be, 3,500, 4K with open salary left, especially if you're looking to fill that last spot. Any of these guys at the bottom of the list could easily outscore a guy like Rashee Rice or Kadarius Toney. Like I think that's in play too. So don't be afraid to leave salary on the table, especially on a slate like this.
100%. I mean, Noah Gray gets a touchdown. He's in there. You could see Blake Bell getting a touchdown. Like it's really this FanDuel also. So the touchdown will be king. Will be king here. Bobbywow, final thoughts. Give me your sort of crazy. You always have an out there player that, and we'll talk FanDuel primarily. Give me your out there player that you're gonna like. That'll be your guy this week.
Yeah, my final thought overall is MME. Find a way to get a bunch of lineups into this slate. I think the player that I'm gonna try and be on the most, who's a little out there, is probably Justin Ross.
Yeah, I think he might be popular on FanDuel, on DraftKings.
He's less than 5% projected right now, but yeah.
No, that's great. How about you up north?
I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire scores a touchdown.
Oh my God. That is out there.
That'd be so classic Chiefs, though.
That would be classic.
Right? Like that'd be, you got to get exposure. You have to.
In the nuts on FanDuel if that happens all day. And it just takes one carry into the end zone. He will be in the winning lineup.
Yep.
I like it. And I'm going to lean Kadarius Toney as my sort of guy I'm a little weirdly more liking than everybody else.
I'm surprised by that because you like barely mentioned his name during this podcast.
I know. I try to keep it a secret. I mean, you know what? Legitimately, before this, I was just rejecting a trade offer in a dynasty league for Kadarius Toney like 5 minutes.
Now you're going back and taking it?
No, but now I'm like, hey, wait, his increasing shares. Maybe I should have taken that offer. No, it's just the snap count thing.
It is.
That's why that tool is so important to me. I see it. I'm like, wait a second. 37% of the snaps for the Chiefs, that might as well be the WR1 level. And you don't want to go over 50. As soon as you go over 50% of the snaps as a wide receiver on the Chiefs, they just stop throwing to you completely. Like you want to be in the 40% zone. We have packages. You want to be a package receiver on the Chiefs. You don't want to be MVS or Sky Moore just out there like when they're practicing the packages, they don't even bring MVS or Sky Moore over there. It's just like Rashee, get over here. Kadarius, get over here. Here's the play we're running for you, right? And they're just running the play, and they're don't even bother. We know already what MVS and Sky Moore. Sky Moore, you're running the out. MVS, you're running the fly route. Don't worry about it. Just do the same thing every fucking play. And so maybe that's how the Chiefs offense operates. It's the package guy that gets the target.
One more thing, just complaining about FanDuel because it's one of my favorite things to do as well. If you look at their player pool, they have guys that like were cut in July. We're in week 6, and Jarrett Guarantano still has a price. He was cut July 25th.
In fairness, sometimes those guys like make their way back, and FanDuel's like, see, he's here.
See,
see, he's in there. So
one more silly note, not FanDuel wise, but you guys are so funny. The passion about FanDuel hate is crazy.
I like FanDuel in a sense. I like the game of on FanDuel.
Yes.
My problem is their website blocks me, and now I'm afraid to reserve lineups that I won't be able to get back in to update it, and it's a legitimate concern. I couldn't get back on. I was like, I was in a panic. It's money. $1,000. I don't want to lose $1,000 because I couldn't log on to their fucking site.
That sounds like a DraftKings testimonial video waiting to happen, Geek.
I know. Listen,
have your VIP guy call you.
Suck your money away too, but at least I can get on the fucking app to update my lineups. It's not. I'm just legitimately scared, and I mean, there is no one. FanDuel does not even have support anymore. Like you get in touch with them, you might as well be talking to India. It's not even India. It's Kuala Lumpur. You're in like Malaysia.
It's ChatGPT.
Who am I speaking with? That's right. It's not even a person anymore. It's just ChatGPT. Like, have you tried this? I'm like, you would like to cancel your entire FanDuel account? I'm like, no, I want to cancel the entries. Gosh.
All right, last crazy thought. Justin Ross is my genuine crazy thought, but one other thing, I don't even know if I'm playing this. Javonte Williams gets hurt on the third play of the game, and Jaleel Sarah McLaughlin ends up in the nuts at sub 5% ownership.
If that happens,
does that,
I will remember.
I was gonna say we will play the whole video of dogs being beat and like the Sarah McLaughlin like ASPCA thing on
I can't
here.
even what is her song for the dog thing? She had like 2 crying songs.
Yeah, what is it?
One is
I remember you. Yeah,
that's one, but there's a better one. That's not even the most iconic. I feel like there's a more iconic one than that. I'm gonna look it up after this.
Yep.
Can we play the Sarah McLaughlin song in the DFS Army Discord when Jaleel McLaughlin
Oh, it's Angel.
In the eyes of
in the arms of an angel. That's yes. We're gonna play In the Arms of an Angel when Jaleel McLaughlin, and then I'll get a video of In the Arms of an Angel and of Steve Urkel just doing the Urkel dance. And we're gonna mix that up in the DFS Army Discord.
Or the DFS Army member that plays it and takes it down, we get a Photoshop of their head on the angel on an angel.
Well, we'll have some fun with that. We're gonna have some fun with that in the Discord. Make sure you're in the DFS Army Discord. That is where it is at. And I told you guys before, if you're not signed up with DFS Army and you want a free month to check it out, this is the free month week. I've mentioned it on all the shows because I feel like a lot of people watching, they're like, yeah, I would like to be in there. I'd like to be hanging with the Geek and Bobbywow and DFS Up North and Bob and Burns and the whole crew, the NFL crew, Fling and everybody else in the chat talking about the games. And of course, the NBA and all the other sports that we have going on. You know, our League of Legends expert has taken down a 100K twice in NFL already this season. What is going on? Imagine how good he is at actual League of Legends.
It's unreal.
And esports. So that's advantage. So anyway, we got a lot going on in DFS Army. NBA starting up 2 weeks. We had NHL start. We have the most sophisticated, I believe, and easiest to use NHL stacking system ever invented. I actually am going to play some NHL.
I did last night.
You did it?
My Blackhawks
last night. I didn't.
I have never made an NHL lineup in DFS.
Oh, I do it all the time.
Are you serious?
I've gotten to this point, and I've never even thought to play an NHL lineup.
Next time you play, Geek, just remember one thing. Play Connor Bedard. Play Connor Bedard. Well,
the shots on goal, he's going to be a monster.
I hope that the projections will reflect it. I will forget that name in seconds from now.
Well, he was the #1 draft pick this year, Kevin. You need to pay attention to other sports.
Absolutely not. You know who gave me a hard time about this? Gargano, when I went on his show, he'd be like, how come you can't come on and just talk basketball? I said, I don't know anything about basketball. Like I focus in on one thing and that's it. I don't have the brain space. All of these sports that you're talking about occur during football season, which means I will not be paying attention.
Fair enough.
All right. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Good luck this week. We will see you guys on top of the leaderboards. And we will be back, of course, on Friday with Tournament Tactics. So make sure to check that out. Like, subscribe, notify, sign up for DFS Army, all those things. We'll see you next time.